Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Pensacola, Florida, it's time for Pensacola Business Radio. Now, here are your Business Radio X hosts.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Keith Hoffert here, broadcasting live from fantastic sunny Pensacola. We're not raining today, thank gosh. And I'm surrounded this table by, I'm going to say definitely a group of characters who are here to talk about Leadership Santa Rosa. I almost called it the other name that I'm not supposed to use. And the Media Day, which I've been invited to, so this is going to be part of it. Hopefully I won't ruin my invite today. But I'm going to let them go around the horn and introduce themselves. So,
hi, I'm Colton Wright, and I own the Tool Shack in Gulf Breeze in Pensacola. And I'm current chairman of the executive committee.
You're the guy in charge, huh?
Technically.
And I'm Kristen Loare. I'm the president, CEO of the Gulf Breeze Area Chamber of Commerce, and I am this year's leadership class's curriculum chair.
And I'm Anna Weaver. I am with United Bank in Pace, Florida, and I am on the board of directors for the Santa Rosa County Chamber.
Yeah. How's that?
It's great.
Yeah.
Love it. Very busy with all the exciting stuff we've got going on this year.
Yeah. You got like new buildings and all kinds of stuff coming, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So we're going to video document that one, by the way.
Awesome.
And by we, I mean me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So, tell me about Leadership Santa Rosa. Somebody lay it on me. Pretend I've never been any part of anywhere near what you guys do.
Well, we know that's not true. But Leadership Santa Rosa is a program that's run by the Santa Rosa County Chamber of Commerce. And it's really, basically, it's just for prepare participants and people that want to be in the program for their leadership roles in the community.
Right. To be a better person, yeah. And even learn about the community, right? Because you guys go to places that I don't think most people would know are there sometimes.
Absolutely. And what I love about Leadership Santa Rosa is even though it's a program of the Santa Rosa Chamber, it's a program that's supported by all of the chambers in Santa Rosa County. We don't see a need to duplicate an effort that's there and one that's been around for so many years and doing something wonderful. So the other chambers throughout the county support that program, and we always put our members through that program as well. This
coming from the chamber itself,
yes.
Yeah? Look at that. So, okay, so for those that don't know, how do you guys do all of this? So because the days are themed, right? So we're specifically going to do Media Day. What other days do you all have?
Well, we have History Day that just happened. We also do an Agribusiness Day. We do a Tourism Day. Kristen?
Yeah, tourism's great because we rotate every other year between the north end and the south end of the county. So the different classes get to experience the different types of tourism we have in Santa Rosa County. We also have a military day, government day, education, health.
I want to know what's the difference between the north end and the south end on Tourist Day.
Well, we just had South End Tourism Day this year.
So that's like beach and flip-flops, right?
Yes, yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Jet skiing,
the learning about the reefs, the
right.
Navarre Beach Marine Science Station, a lot of that tourism that takes place on Navarre Beach. And then in the north end of the county, it's focused more on the rivers and the waterways.
Oh, yeah.
And
okay.
The
so
horses.
either way, somebody's getting wet and it's water day and you get to go have fun.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Okay, so continue. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's just it's a really well-rounded program. You really learn about all the different aspects of business and community within Santa Rosa County. A lot of things that people that have maybe lived there their whole life don't even know and realize because we are hitting every corner of the county from Jay to Gulf Breeze to Navarre and everywhere in between.
So, and you guys, and a lot of the businesses participate, locally, don't they? Yeah,
a lot of local businesses. Also, a lot of people that are either work for a government institution or the different chambers. There's a government day that's really good, and there's also a trip to Tallahassee. So the program's very well rounded. Really just gets people involved in everything in the community in Santa Rosa County.
What do you guys do in Tallahassee?
It's a great trip. I think that, the fact that you kind of start the year off with that, I think is pretty impressive.
One thing we did this year that I thought was really neat was we got to actually go to the Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice came and spoke to us for, probably an hour.
Really?
And that's just something you just don't get to do.
Yeah.
And so that was amazing.
So what did he talk to you all about?
He talked to us about different cases that he has to see and their procedures, just kind of really gave us an inside look at what it's like. For most of us, we'll never be in the Supreme Court.
Sure. Or have to make decisions that big, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was very eye-opening.
And so is that one of y'all's first days, is Tallahassee?
It's pretty early in the year.
Yeah.
It is. It always revolves around when session is.
Yeah.
And so it's going to vary from year to year sometimes. But one of the great things that I love about Tallahassee trip as well is that we coordinate. Pardon?
Go Knowles.
Yeah. We coordinate with the LEAP class and Leadership Okaloosa. So all 3 counties' leadership classes are going to Tallahassee at the same time. And there are opportunities for them to network together. So we know in Northwest Florida, it's really a regional approach that we have to take for a lot of things. And so for the leadership classes to be able to go to Tallahassee together, to meet with our elected officials, to network together and to grow those relationships, it's a really wonderful part of the program as well.
So that's cool. I totally forgot about Leadership Okaloosa. Is their program reflective of LEAP and y'all's?
It's
the same concept?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and for those that don't know, they do this all up and down the state. And then the next level is, I forget what it's called, but there's a state level one where it kind of takes
it's Leadership Florida.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, go figure. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And,
at least that's a good guess.
But I've also heard there's a couple of them because it'll do it by age range and some of the demographics. So there's Leadership Florida, and then there's another level, which is like, it's not Senior Leadership Florida, but it's an older group that's just doing different stuff. But all of them are some way wrapped around leadership or economic development, which I thought was pretty cool. So, and I actually applied for one, but I just didn't have enough time. So, because it takes a lot, doesn't it?
It does. It is quite a commitment.
Yeah,
and I'm still recovering.
Well, while we're talking about the time, this is the commitment to the program. Yes, it's a year long, and you do have individual days every month. So you do need to kind of wipe your calendar clean for that day to really get the most out of the program, which is difficult when you're a business owner or you have a
emails to answer and phones. Yeah,
and emergencies come up. We all understand that, but generally speaking, it is a commitment. But when you make that commitment to the program, you really get the most out of it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, what year did you all finish? Are you still going through it?
I'm leadership class 28, the best class
ever. Right. Yeah.
Ever.
I was leadership class 30.
Okay.
No, I wasn't. I was 29.
Yeah. I was just about to say you're
right. I was 29. See, I didn't want to graduate yet.
Which was what year?
Well, it was 2 years ago. We're in 31 now. So my leadership class, maybe why I feel like it was 30 because our class project took 2 years.
Yeah.
I always say that we did the project that we wish we never had to do, and our class did the Black Hawk Memorial for the helicopter crash.
That was rough.
And that was a long project that most classes don't go on to 2 years for.
But well done.
Thank you.
By the way, for 50 people to just kind of come together and all of a sudden decide, that was pretty impactful.
Thank you.
It was phenomenal. It turned out great. And class 29 did a phenomenal job on that, and the long-lasting impact of that memorial, it'll be there 100 years from now.
Yeah, so that's therapy impressive for the people that had to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and so, because Donna had told me a little bit about some of the stuff that y'all had to go through to get that thing done, not to mention just what you're doing it for.
Well, it was a very emotional project.
Yeah.
Especially when you got to meet some of the families and the first responders and those that were affected by it. When we had learned about that accident, one of our classmates could not go to Tallahassee. It happened the night before we left for the Tallahassee trip because he was a first responder and he had to work the scene. And so it hit very close to home for a lot of people, and it was a very emotional project as well.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Glad you did it. When
class 28.
Yeah, but you're still kind of like locked down because you've got 5 more years invested?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll be involved in the program as long as they'll have me.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about give me like the best thing you got out of it, you think?
Wow, it's hard to say.
Or two best things.
Yeah,
or three best things.
It's hard to narrow it down to one thing. I guess if I had to use one thing, it'd be sense of community. I have had and made friendships that I'll have for the rest of my life, and to me, that's the most important thing. Is the relationships that we built. But I think everybody gets something different, and I think part of it is either what you go in, what your expectations are going into the program.
Yeah.
What it is you want to get out of it. Everybody has different things they want to get out of the program. And I think sometimes people walk into the program and start thinking they're going to get one thing out of it, and they maybe get something different.
Yeah.
I chose my choice was just to be a follower. And I know that sounds
that was very odd coming from you, man.
In a leadership program, but for me, it was better to sit back and just listen and learn as much as possible. And there were times, each individual has to step up and do something, but generally speaking, I just wanted to be a sponge and learn from the program, and that's what I got the most out of it.
So I think that was one of the things in my life, because I did the one from Pensacola. It actually taught me to listen, right? Because I had no idea what I was. Somebody nominated me, and I didn't know. I knew who it was, but I didn't know who it was till like 6 months into the program, and I was like, "Oh, that's how I got here." And so I had no idea what I was walking into. And from day one, I was like, "Okay, this is kind of cool." But then class 3 or 4 got really intense, and then SimSoc was like, "Oh, now I know sort of why I do the things that I do," which is really weird. So anyway.
I'm going to echo what Colton said. I was going to say relationships.
Yeah.
You really form some incredible relationships through the program. And what's interesting is you're in a class with 30 to 40 people, and you may form some really good friendships or spend a lot of time with a group of those folks during your year, but then you're still connected to them in the business community for years after. And I'm now still developing newer relationships and friendships and business contacts with people who I was in class with.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, wow, why didn't we get learn this about each other then or whatnot? And it continues because you still stay connected through that business community.
Yeah.
And it's that connection that you're going to have for many, many years.
And everybody in the class is from a different vertical of industry usually, right? So you've got some media, some economics, some healthcare, some banking, so by the time you're done, like your Rolodex is like stacked, because you've got somebody that you can call and at least ask those questions.
Right.
So.
I'm going to have to agree. The relationships were great, but one thing that was different for me was when I was growing up, we moved around a lot. My dad was in the Marine Corps, and so going through this program gave me just an extreme love for Santa Rosa County.
Yeah.
Because I knew nothing about it. I had lived here for 12 years, but I really knew nothing. And so it really opened my eyes and made me fall in love with my community.
Yeah.
And again, you take 40 people who are from extremely different walks of life. Most of them are type A personalities, and you put them all on a stinky yellow school bus. I mean,
it's a whole new world, isn't it?
I'm going to tell you, it's going to open your eyes big time.
So you said type A personality. Did you all do the test? Did you do personality tests?
No. But if I had to, just thinking of our class 28, the best class ever, I would have to say that at least 80% were type A. I mean, everybody wants to talk. Everybody's got the answer. Everybody's got the and then having to come together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whew,
it's weird.
But like Colton said as well, he wanted to follow. So you've got that group of people that may be type A's, but in this they're like, okay, I know it's a leadership thing, but this is a day that I don't have to really lead. I don't have to be that person that I am in my day-to-day business. So I'm going to just step back and take that time to...
Or at least being aware enough that you're like, dude, I got no clue what's going on right now.
Yeah, and I don't like walking in the room and being the smartest person in the room because
then you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, so that's why for me, my objective was to learn from other people. And that's what the great thing about the program is. If you want to step up and lead, you want to take on the class project and you want to lead that, great. If you want to be front and center all the time, you can certainly do so. But to Anna's point, you typically are surrounded by type A people that are in this, or they're in some position of authority, or they drive their business or whatever industry they're in. And it is difficult sometimes to have that many people in a room and be able to herd the cats, so to speak. So sometimes
that's always fun.
Yeah.
Too.
So it's an interesting dynamic every class, every event.
So we took we did the Berkman, and so I've never really been self-analyzed by myself, but let alone to actually have a test that was accurate. In that sense, I always thought those kinds of things were just whatever, blowing smoke. This piece of paper is not going to tell me who I am, right? Man, that thing nailed me. I took it twice because I didn't believe it the first time. Nailed me. But they put us in, we were colors. So we were like, I was red, blue, which was like type A and then a little bit of type B, I guess. Then they had yellow, green, which were the ones that kind of just chilled. And so they took all of those, different characteristics that were portrayed in the personality test. I think that's what you call it. And then mixed this all up for SimSoc that way. And so I was in the Red Room, for those that have played before, and I did not die.
Still in therapy.
I'm not still in therapy. I've probably put a couple people in therapy.
Do you still have grudges?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Then you
I was
did
good.
a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we ended up beating the game, which was really weird because I didn't read the book. So
No one reads the book.
So I did read the last chapter of the book. So I'm just saying, just read the book, right? But anyway,
read the rules.
It was so weird, and it was like in the middle of all of that I got out of the Red Room and I got to the Yellow Media Place room, and
wait, isn't it a rule of leadership that you're not supposed to talk about
you can
SimSoc?
say those kinds of things, whatever.
First rule of SimSoc.
Don't talk about
it. But I got there, and then all of a sudden, like something clicked, and I stood back and just kind of watched, and I was like, "This is like the social engineering and like I don't know." The equation came together, and I kind of finally all of a sudden like understood people for a second. I was like, "Wow, this is kind of cool." So, if you want to get your brain warped a little bit, go do some SimSoc.
Yeah, it's an interesting exercise, and I think the one dynamic that's different between Leadership Pensacola, and Leadership Santa Rosa is the timing of the SimSoc. So in Leadership Santa Rosa, that's going to be the first retreat that you really have.
Yeah.
So, the very first thing you do is going to be, basically 2 days of SimSoc.
God, we would all been dead.
Well, and that's the interesting thing is people are just kind of getting to know each other during the exercise. Whereas I believe LEAP, you guys did it in August or something.
October.
Midway.
So it's like our 6th thing to do.
Yeah, so halfway through the year. So you already have some relationships built, know the personalities. It's a little bit different dynamic when you don't know anyone in the room. Or you might have had 1 or 2 people you knew prior to joining the program.
Yeah.
From social circles or something. But generally speaking, it's kind of an interesting free-for-all.
I bet. Yeah, everybody's a stranger, huh?
Yeah.
It's like the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, it can be.
So, you're present at all the SimSocs that you've been, since you've graduated or whatever, right?
I facilitated the last 2, I believe.
Yeah. So that's a handful.
It's a great experience. It's interesting to see it from a different side.
Same. So I was afraid to go back. I don't think I could handle that much self-discovery within the last 10 years. Twice. So, all right, let's talk about Media Day though, because, I remember our Media Day that we did. We visited, I think, a lot of the places that you all are going to go to. And then the Hurricane Center, we went and did that piece, which I thought was really cool because I had no idea we had a Hurricane Center here. I just thought it was like all posted up in a watchtower, but it's this full-on fortress and ambulances and facilities and stuff. But talk to me, what does Media Day look like?
Well, for the last couple of years, I think the idea was to try to get out and see every type of media that we have in the local area, whether that be television. So usually local television, WEAR, the ABC affiliate, kind of the Pensacola hometown television station. Right. Usually watch a broadcast there, news broadcast midday. The radio stations, Cat Country
and News Radio.
News Radio.
And we also do a media panel. So the different print media.
Which does still exist, people.
Yes.
Throughout Santa Rosa and Escambia counties will come together to do a media panel in the morning, which is nice to be able to look at some like the Pensacola News Journal, which is a daily publication versus the weekly and the different types of print media there is still. Yeah. And then also we're going to be exploring through the P&J some of their digital marketing and media outlets there as well.
So what's the class's reactions usually? Do they realize that all of this stuff is here? You think?
They're usually pretty amazed, I think, when actually getting to go behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And then I know last year with going to P&J, everybody was so amazed with all of the, just the internet and the social media and everything that they know about you. It was just very eye-opening.
All of that volunteered information that you give them?
Exactly. Yeah. They compile it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the print publication from 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's not the newspaper I used to throw on a bike route, to the neighbors.
God, that's right. You did deliver newspapers.
I did. Yeah. Started working when I was 10. But it's just different. We've still got those. We've got the independent news. So, Rick Altson will come out and do his piece, and, South Santa Rosa News, the Navarre Press,
Santa Rosa Press Gazette.
Santa Rosa Press Gazette. Yeah. So, and they all tend to be a little bit more regional. So,
but like some of them are even like hyper regional.
Exactly.
You know,
and
like
I think
the Gulf
that's a
Breeze
good
News
thing.
doesn't go further than Gulf Breeze.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the great things about print media now is it still does exist, but it tends to be so local.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to get, while the News Journal does a good job and it has a Santa Rosa section, you know, they're not going to be as pinpoint to something specific to Gulf Breeze or specific to Navarre. And I think that, you know, or North, you know, Milton, Jay, something like that. So I think that's a pretty neat part of the panel. You know, they get asked questions, and they also talk about their digital aspect and how the industry has changed.
Yeah.
And then this year we decided to bring you in so we could.
Yeah,
we could
this
talk
is going to
about
be
this.
rocky. I'm just going to warn you right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. So, because it's, you know, our end is completely different from anybody else that's out there because we support where they don't, right? So we pick up sort of the niche market of giving somebody a platform to represent without all of the other stuff.
I think one of the neat things about Media Day as well is that the class not only gets to see the journalism aspect of media, but also the marketing and promotion aspect of it. I remember seeing at the Pensacola News Journal the big digital boards that they have and how they can see when someone is reading an article online, when they stop reading, how far they scroll down on the page, and all of that affects where ad placement is and different things like that, and how all of that ties together. And that's really, I think, an important part of media as well, is not just the journalism aspect of it and telling the story, but what's the best way for you to tell your story as a business or an organization as well through all the different outlets that there are. And I believe in the morning this year, we also have someone coming to do a presentation on kind of working with the media and how can you work with the media?
Yeah, what format to put your
press
stuff in.
releases and different things like that can really help you with your organization or business.
Yeah. So, but I like the way you said that you got to figure out how to tell your story, right? A lot of these last couple of years, the big thing's been, what's your why, right? So now everybody's got their why, but you have to translate that. And not only do you have to translate that, but then you have to get it in front of those people that actually want to consume it, right? And so all of this data that's out there that you voluntarily give, that gets combed by Google and Facebook and all that other stuff, if you have not lived in the world of having to like read that stuff or know what to do with it, it gets to be cloudy, right? And so then you're just a guy with the wacky inflatable arm guy yelling at the cars that you're on sale on Sunday, right? But so we serve a different market that way, and we help tell that story without all of the flash and the wacky inflatable arm guy. Although if I had one, I would totally plug him in and let him just hang out. So,
You need taller ceilings.
Yeah.
oh no, we'll put him out front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll let everybody else enjoy him too. And we got a big yard out here, man. So, so you're going to WAR. We're going to, where's the place we start?
Where are we starting? That's terrible.
I think we're starting at the Economic Development Office, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's where the media panel is going to be with breakfast. And
So I've never been there to the Economic Development Office.
It's in Milton.
Yeah.
Just behind the McDonald's. That's kind of a weird.
it's in front of the county administrative
Yeah,
building.
There you go.
But it's funny because because the administrative building is so far off the road, the
Right.
first thing you see is the McDonald's. It's the landmark everybody uses,
Yeah.
but it's right there in the parking lot of the administrative building.
Which actually, the reason I was leading into this is because, we get the newsletters from the chamber over there, but there's a lot of development going on in Milton in Santa Rosa County, and it's probably a year or two away from just really exploding. And so some of the things that I've seen go through the Economic Development Office seem to be pretty exciting. And I wonder how much of that is either going to be covered or hasn't been covered or is sort of hush-hush right now. But there's
With leadership?
Yeah, or just with the press and all of that stuff. So it's kind of cool to have them there. Maybe they'll pick up a little bit.
And we just had Business and Industry Day in June. And so we had presentations from Shannon from the Economic Development Office and learned a lot. And Dr. Harper also did a presentation. So we toured all the industrial parks. And so, some of it is hush-hush when it's in the project phase, but it's also great to be able to share the wins.
There's big plans coming.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've lived here since 89. Wow. And it's a lot better situation, I think. Like, I don't worry about my kids not wanting to hang out and go to college here or come home and, be able to fulfill their dreams.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to Kristen's point earlier about just Northwest Florida. The regional aspect. I mean, I still think Santa Rosa County is the best county amongst the region. I'm a little biased on that, but at the same time, I think generally speaking, everything's intertwined.
Yeah.
So what happens in Escambia County certainly affects Santa Rosa County, and Santa Rosa County affects Okaloosa, and vice versa. And I think our community, generally speaking, has gotten better over those decades. There's more to do. I think crime, generally speaking, is lower.
Yeah.
Housing is better. Economic development is much better in this community. I think it's just a great place to live and work.
So I think it's organizations like this, like whether it's LEAP or Leadership Santa Rosa and people in the press, they have a duty, I think, to break down some of these silos that have been stacked between each county. Because, you're Santa Rosa, and then there's Escambia over here, but we're literally talking a distance of 5 miles maybe?
Right.
So, and you're right, everything's intertwined, not to mention Panama City and all the way down the highway of all of these fantastic assets in the state of Florida that need to be leveraged with each other.
Well, and if you think that a business coming into Escambia or Okaloosa or even Walton counties is not going to affect Santa Rosa County, you're mistaken. I mean, the commuting patterns show that there are people that are employed by great companies in other counties, but they choose to live in Santa Rosa County or vice versa. And I mean, we're sitting in Pensacola right now talking about Leadership Santa Rosa.
It's amazing.
Santa Rosa County doesn't have its own television station. It doesn't need its own television station. We all support each other.
Right.
And, a lot of it's interesting to me. I come from Cincinnati originally. I'm used to.
You're like WKRP
driving.
all day long, aren't you?
That's right. And I'm used to driving on interstates and driving.
Your 9
longer
miles
distances.
took an hour, right? Our 9 miles takes 9 minutes, right?
But down here, people are more freaked out by going across a bridge or going a few miles down the road than they are in a larger city. And that's amazing to me. I don't look at bridges as separating our communities. I look at the bridges as connecting our communities.
Have you ever been stuck on that bridge?
We all have.
I have. Look, I'm with the Gulf Breeze Chamber. The construction of that bridge is not news to me,
Right.
But I definitely look at those as opportunities to connect our communities. And I wish more people would see that, how interconnected we are, and that it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. What can people do to help that, you think?
Well, to help with the
connecting them, like to be the voice.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if there's an easy answer to that. I think part of it comes down to where you're from. So people that grew up here, people that never lived in a larger community, larger city, a more metropolitan area, I think they're the ones that tend to have those barriers built up in their minds. Yeah. Particularly people who have lived here a long time, they think that bad traffic is going 15 miles in 1 hour.
Right.
They have no idea what it's like to be in LA or Cincinnati or Chicago or Miami
DC.
or something, or DC or even Tallahassee for that, and try
Where
to
it's
go
like an hour for a mile.
Yeah. And I guess our biggest experience in this community would be trying to get to the beach on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Or bridge construction, something like that. But I think that's part of progress. I know the
growing pains.
Yeah. Bridge construction, that's been a hot topic for a while, and it's going to be for a few years.
God, I'm so glad they're doing it, though.
But that's the thing, it's long overdue. We should have done this 10, 15 years ago. Every year you wait, it just gets more expensive, and there's more pain involved. So short-term pain, and we're going to have a phenomenal outcome when it's all said and done. It's going to be better, and I think it's going to make it easier. I think it's one of those solutions to make it easier for people to transmit, transportation between Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Pensacola Beach. I just think it'll be better for everybody.
Yeah, we won't be locked in on the peninsula anymore when it's time to get out of here.
Exactly.
So, the other thing that I picked up through my experience too was I just didn't know how much was here. We've said that a couple of times. Like, I had no idea that IHMC was here and the work that they were doing. I had no idea that the assets of the Navy base, like how much it really played a part in the world. I had no idea that between Space Coast of I-4 and I-10, it's like 90% of the nation's tech and cybersecurity infrastructure. Like, I had no idea. And so learning some of that stuff gave me a whole bunch of pride, which then made me kind of change my point of view of what's better for the whole as opposed to what am I afraid of actually having to experience.
Right.
That was wide open to just comment on.
Well, I mean, I think that's what we were talking about earlier when we talked about, falling in love with your community when you do get that sense of pride. and finding, getting to go behind the scenes at Andrews Institute or, any of that. It really does. We have an amazing community, a wonderful place to live. And just to get to know that and then turn around and share it, with 10 people, and then they share it with 10 people. And I mean, this is just a phenomenal community.
We're putting our community leaders through a program like this. And we're hoping that they learn a lot about their community and also maybe some leadership skills and things that they can take back to help in their businesses or the organizations that they're a part of. But another thing with that, learning about all of the wonderful things that we have, is that you and I are the best advertisement for our area, for tourism, and for business development.
Yeah.
Because especially with social media and all of the ways that we're connecting with people all over the country and all over the world, when we can share about something that we just learned in our community, whether it is, did you know this about Santa Rosa County? Did you know that Whiting Field has the second busiest airport in the world behind Atlanta, with the amount of touchdown, or takeoffs and landings because of the training they do there? That's something that is really cool about our area that a lot of people don't know. The way that we then gain more of a sense of pride for our community, that's going to show to those people that are thinking, you know what, I never thought about Northwest Florida. Maybe I do want to go there to vacation, or maybe I do want to consider relocating my business there.
Yeah, from Japan.
You never know. I'm an Army brat. My friends on Facebook are from all over the world because they're still connected all around the world. So how I talk about my community is going to advertise our area to people all over, and that's going to help with economic development.
Yeah. Which and which helps with everything else, right? Whether it's the wages, whether it is your quality of life, whether it is the education systems. So participate, right?
Yeah. Well, and to that point, and to Kristen's point, you can either be part of the problem, or you can complain, or you can be part of the solution. And I think that's the great thing about Leadership Santa Rosa and the leadership programs in general, is that it's people that are involved and have the ability to be great ambassadors for their community.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is, it's our job to be involved, to help provide solutions, to make our community better than the way we found it, and to be good ambassadors, and tell other people.
So one of the things my dad had always taught me was, regardless of whether you agree or disagree, you can't change or shape anything unless you have a seat at the table, right? And if you don't have a seat at the table, then really, honestly, you can't do anything, right? So it was sort of like shut up or put up, right? And it stuck with me. And so when I got into the leadership stuff, it was like, okay, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I'm going to sit here and we're going to listen, whatever, hammer it out. But you had to participate. There's one thing left that we haven't talked about that happens, I think, every year. You guys have a class project? Yeah?
Yes. So the class project historically has, I don't know if there's been a class that hasn't done one, but it's not a requirement of the leadership program.
I'm out.
I know with some of the other counties, it is, they always do a class project. So it may be that there's some classes that just say, you know what, we don't feel that there's a need right now that we need to address. This year's class, believe just voted to help support the For the Children home in Milton, Florida. Which is of course we're talking about Florida. And it's a great organization, and they still need a lot of assistance and help and have a great mission. And so this year's class is going to be doing a project for them. I don't know the details of it yet, but yes, every class usually looks for, maybe there's something that class is passionate about, or it may be that they're on one of their curriculum days and they learn about something and they say, oh, you know what, we need to do something about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a terrible event like with my class, with the Black Hawk accident, and that's what spurred that project on. So it's something that doesn't have any requirements of having a certain amount of time or a certain amount of financial impact or things like that. It's just really left up to the class to follow their heart and their gut and whatever they feel needs to happen, how they can affect some change. Yeah.
And I would encourage it regardless of whether it was required or not, because I think you learn a lot about yourself, and then you learn a lot about the collaboration, which needs to happen in order for things to get better. And and to watch 50 people from 50 different things come together and do that, like you were saying, it's pretty amazing.
And it's a great legacy to leave as
Yep.
well. You know?
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want their name carved in stone? Come on.
Or on a bench or a picnic table.
Yeah.
Colton and I
Back
did.
of Colton's car.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Well, we're getting to the end of time here. Is there anything that we have missed that anybody can think of that I didn't cover?
I think one thing when you start any leadership program, probably most people are doing it for the networking. And so, you don't want to leave that out. It is a great part. It is, you do some incredible
The what's in it for me?
Yeah. That's what we all go into it for.
Sure.
But you come out of it with so much more.
Yeah.
So I know that I've gotten way more out of leadership than I've put into it for sure. But
It's
there's
a
still a good chance to network.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you were saying earlier, the relationships you build they're priceless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think another thing that I would share is that it is a year-long program that starts in we do orientation in December. So if you're interested in participating in the leadership class for next year, we're always accepting nominations.
Yeah, she's looking at me right when she says that. You see that?
You can, and it can be self-nominations. You don't have to be nominated by somebody else. And so we're already accepting nominations for class 32.
So what happens after
we can pull some strings for you, buddy.
Donna has been trying the last 2 years. What is what happens after you get nominated, and then what is honestly the time requirement that they've asked for?
Sure. So once all the nomination period is closed, there are applications that are sent out, and it's just learning a little bit more about you and your organization. Then the executive committee, I believe, reviews all of those applications and then selects the class. I don't know that there's really any instances where someone that's applied has not been accepted in the program. Perhaps it's just a timing issue with the class being full from the time that they applied. And I would say it's 1 day a month for a full year. You've got some months that you might have some other things such as Tallahassee, but Tallahassee is not a required visit that you have to make.
But don't miss it.
But it is it's one of the best.
It's a phenomenal experience.
It's a great thing, but we also allow some makeup days. So you don't have to be scared of, okay, well, what if there is that emergency with my business and I'm not able to make that one day?
Yeah.
It's okay. You can make up those days and still be able to graduate from the program. And so just, about 1 day a month, and it's a phenomenal thing to participate in.
Yeah.
And you're going to get out what you put in. So that's I think the key point in the program is, the more you put into it and the more open your mind is, the more you participate, the more you'll walk away with.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're all here at this table too, is, we've got class 28, class 29, and yet we're still involved and it's currently class 31. And that's the nice thing. So let's say you miss a day. I missed tourism day in my class.
I was back next year.
I was able to go back to a different class and participate.
Yeah.
And as a facilitator. So, once you've graduated the program, you can facilitate another day for a different class and see it from a different side. You can also, facilitate or be on the executive committee. So there's other ways to be able to give back to the program.
Yeah. So
and learn more.
I've chaired, I'm 5 years deep now, right? So I've chaired some, done the alumni some. And you're right. It is fun to go. It's fun to watch all of them go through the same experiences that you went through, and to watch their faces hit that point where it's like, I remember that moment, right? So, real quick before we go, if somebody wants information, where do we send them to for Leadership Santa Rosa?
Well, they can contact the Santa Rosa County Chamber. They can go to the chamber website at srcchamber.com, or they can email membership@srcchamber.com.
Perfect. Anything else? No, you good? Okay. I want you guys to give your social stuff and your web addresses for your businesses.
Okay.
Because we are Pensacola Business Radio after all.
Well, that's right. United Bank, Anna Weaver. It's anna.weaver@unitedbank.com or www.unitedbank.com.
You've done this before,
UnitedBankAL.com. Excuse me.
It's Kristen Loera with Gulf Breeze Chamber. Our website is gulfbreezechamber.com, and I can be reached at CEO@gulfbreezechamber.com.
That's creative. I like that.
Makes me seem more important.
Just makes it easier for me to remember.
Yeah, Colton Wright with the Tool Shack. We have stores in Gulf Breeze and Pensacola, and eventually, sometime soon, hopefully in the north of the county in Milton.
And online, too. You got a big presence online.
Yeah, we have a pretty good website. You can see us on thetoolshack.com. That's thetoolshack.com. And we also have a Facebook page, so check us out there.
Awesome. I want to thank all of you for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for tagging along the little one.
Yeah.
She's a trooper. Yeah. So, guys, you can find us at Pensacola Radio X on Twitter. You can find us at Pensacola BRX on Facebook, or you can find us on our website at pensacola.businessradiox.com. And this has been Pensacola Business Radio, where business is good and your work matters.